What's up, beautiful people? It's January 14th, 2014. Nice date, by the way. This is the fourth episode of Don't Fake.
The Funk.
And today we have an amazing special guest, Brian at Wheelchair Jitsu on Twitter, right?
That's right. That's me.
So,
Thank you for having me.
From where are you calling in?
I am in Rockingham, North Carolina.
Beautiful.
United States.
Yeah, we got a little time difference here of 6 hours, but that's no problem. We figured it out. And yeah, thanks to Waterboxer for making this connection because we just started out and he told us you would be a great guest, and so I contacted you and we hooked up. So we got it going.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really appreciative of Waterboxer. He's been good to me. Real supportive, awesome guy.
He's good to everyone. He's like, I never seen him. Well, he can be. He's a great guy to everyone who's in this community. You know, he's just basically one of the best and most inspirational guys I've met on Twitter, pretty much.
Same here. He really embraces the Bushido code and really lives by it. I can tell. He's, I spoke with him for a while yesterday on the phone, and he's just real well spoken, real well rounded, and he's definitely into the one love, and he represents it well.
And once again, big props. He's the godfather of this podcast. Thank you a lot, man.
So Brian, tell us something about your story. How you got into jiu-jitsu and how it all went down for you.
I pretty much really have just focused on my daughter and her martial arts since September of 2012, and I've always had an interest in the sport, but it's not something that I really thought that I could get into with my disabilities. But my daughter, she came up with the idea that I should start training jiu-jitsu and that I could do it, and started giving me every reason in the world why I could, and I couldn't argue with any of them. So I eventually just went to her coach, and I told him that I wasn't sure what our school offers lots of different types of martial arts training, but he's told me, we can definitely get you active. And he emailed me a syllabus that he put together a couple of weeks later, and it looked good. And I started in private lessons, just, learning fundamental concepts, a lot of self-defense versus fights, and, just all the aspects. And then from there, we started a lot of self-defense, sitting in my chair, breakaways, wrist locks, things like that, ways to control distance and angles. And then from there, it just kind of progressed and got more and more physical, more involved. And starting out slow like that, it really gave me a confidence boost. I didn't just jump right into a class and say, holy shit, I can't do this. So my coach was really awesome in bringing me into everything slow and build my confidence and showing me I could do things that I didn't think I could do. And my goal was to eventually not have to take private lessons and be able to adapt my game enough to function in a normal class. And I really wanted to achieve that goal before my 40th birthday. So I was able to do that 2 days before I turned 40.
That's beautiful.
I was able to attend my first night class, and I did really well. So
that's
I'm
beautiful.
Here to stay. I love it.
I just earlier I checked your Twitter and I looked at some pictures. You're rolling. You're not holding back. You're rolling on the floor, arm triangles, everything.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. And your daughter trains in karate, or I saw some pictures there too, or
she taekwondo and jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, I just saw.
She started in karate, but she competed in karate, taekwondo, and jiu-jitsu last year.
Whoa.
This year, no more karate. Yeah, she's a beast.
Future
She's a legitimate little
UFC
badass.
champ.
She says she already dreams of that. And her reward for competing so hard last year, I took her to Daytona Beach, Florida, and she won 2 national championships and runner-up in another event. So I took her to Vegas to see UFC 168
Wow.
a few weeks ago. Yeah, and she's all about Ronda Rousey. So yeah, that was what we did, and it was the best experience of my life.
She wasn't disappointed then because Ronda Rousey kicked some ass.
That's right. She screamed the entire fight. And yeah, she was excited. She was ready to go after that fight. I'm like, no, I really want to see Silva Weidman.
Oh man, you saw that live? Oh my god.
Yeah, I actually have a couple of pictures and some videos on my Instagram and maybe on my Twitter feed. But I recorded my view. I didn't record any video much in the first round because they were on the ground and there was one of the ring posts was between us, so I had to watch the monitor. But in the second round, when they started standing, I started videoing because I could see well, and I actually got it on my phone. I got the video of it from my point of view, and yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, that must have been crazy. And how did the crowd react? Like, did they realize right away, oh man, he broke his leg? Or because I watched it on a live stream at night here with some friends, and yeah, I figured he maybe broke his foot or something like that, but nothing that bad at first. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he hurt his knee or what it was really from our point of view, and really the whole crowd, it was kind of just silence, not really silence, but kind of like what happened. And then when they showed the replay, that's when the crowd really reacted.
Oh yeah.
That's the point where I grabbed my daughter and we took off to beat the crowd.
Yeah, that's the replay when I first saw it, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, nasty
that
shit.
didn't look good.
And by the way, if somebody remembers out there, Jose Pele Landy, another shoot-to-box fighter, he broke his leg in a fight like way back in the 90s too, really bad.
Yeah. And
same style break.
Yeah, and UFC too, Corey Hill.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
couple years back.
Yep.
But he came back and fought again, but in a lower, like, not in the UFC, but another company. But yeah, he didn't make his way all the way back up, So let's see what Anderson Silva does. I'm not sure really.
I read that his manager says that he'll definitely be back. But I would imagine an injury like that probably does something to your head a little bit. Maybe makes you a little hesitant, but I maybe some people don't care.
Yeah, maybe he's too proud and doesn't want to go out on 2 losses like that. Who knows,
Right.
So we'll see. But yeah, he also said some stuff like Chris Weidman shouldn't be celebrating because it was more like a freak accident.
That's ridiculous.
I don't really agree. I mean, Chris, he won the first round. Could have been maybe a 10-8 even. He beat his ass on the ground, knocked him down.
He was definitely ahead.
Definitely. Then he checked the leg kick beautifully, and yeah, I mean,
he did everything right.
Exactly.
It's not like Anderson landed a clean leg kick and his leg broke. Weidman checked it.
And have you guys heard the comments that Ray Longo made about this statement by Anderson? He said he wants to give him the benefit of doubt because he believes that's the Oxycontin speaking.
Yeah, that's Ray Longo also said like there was a little controversy after the fight because one microphone near the octagon picked someone up saying when Anderson was on ground, someone said "fuck him" out of Weidman's corner, and yeah, it turns out it was his coach Ray Longo. He's like "fuck him."
It was Metzera.
Oh, it was Metzera?
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah. Maybe I'm confusing it. One of his corner man said it, but yeah, that's more like out of the moment. Probably they didn't realize right away what happened.
According
Right,
to
right.
according to Matt Serra, he didn't mean like fuck him, like great his leg broke. He was like he wanted to get Chris to fuck him up. That was pretty much what he was trying to say, but I'm not really sure about that. I guess he was just heated up and just did burst out of his mouth.
Yeah, people who play it up a little bit might make a big deal out of it. But I mean, Anderson can definitely come back. I mean, look at you, Brian. You're on the mat, rolling in class, doing jiu-jitsu, and if you want to talk about it, how I saw on your Twitter that you're a veteran too, like a military.
Yes, yeah, I was in a car accident on active duty, and
Oh,
I ended up having to have surgery and was paralyzed in surgery. Um,
When
the
was this?
Do what?
When was it?
Oh, I November of 2007, November 7th. I was supposed to have surgery and be at home in 3 days, feeling good, feeling great, walking around, and I woke up in the operating room, and they wanted me to, like, make sure I could move my legs, and he was telling me, move your legs, and I was telling him I was moving my legs, but I wasn't. So I had to undergo a second surgery right away to find out what the problem was, and then it was a couple of days in intensive care, and from there, just it was a nightmare for a while. And but pretty soon, I realized, I'm like, I have a daughter. I can be paralyzed and happy, or paralyzed and miserable. Either way, I'm paralyzed, and I knew I was going to have some recovery, but I didn't have any idea of how much I would recover. But I had no use of either leg. My whole abdominal region was paralyzed. It was miserable. But over time I've gotten back what I have. But I don't really sit here and think of myself as disabled. Everybody's had an injury, and when you have an injury, you kind of work around it. You still have to do what you have to do, and you work around your injury. And I just have a really big injury.
That takes a strong person. A lot of people just drop into years of depression, and that you just are right back out there. And I mean, 2007, that's not that long ago, and you're training jiu-jitsu by now. That's amazing, man.
I appreciate it. I don't think of it as like overcoming a disability or anything. I don't think, all right, I'm going to go and I'm going to train and I'm going to beat my disability. I don't even think about my disability. Like I say, it's just something that I really enjoy, something I love, something I think about nonstop. I'm always thinking about how I can do this, how I can do that, details, what I did wrong, and I never really think about. I only think about my disability in terms of how it affects my game and what I need to do to compensate for those issues. So, I never even realized I would inspire one person, let alone have a whole community reach out to me and support me. And I have lots of disabled people, send me messages. Hey, where can I do that? How can I get involved in something like that? I wish we had something like that around here. So I've really embraced it and tried to help as many people as I can.
that's beautiful. It's very inspirational because you won't let your disability hold you back and hold you back from fulfilling your dreams and do what you want to do. So it's beautiful to see you now sparring, and like you said, maybe you started out with only private classes, but now you're in this class environment, which is like a big. It's not only a class; it's also a community in jiu-jitsu. So it's a great way to meet new people, to make new friends. So that's beautiful that you're able to do that now.
It definitely is, and every one of my teammates are all smiles, really supportive. Um, they're really helpful. I get in situations, and the blue belts, they don't just rape me, with submissions. They really teach me and help me, and it's just an awesome experience. I look forward to class, not just to go train, but just for the whole experience of being around all those guys, and the camaraderie and all that is just awesome.
Yeah, I did Muay Thai a couple of years ago for a while, and sometimes I was afraid, like almost afraid to go to training because I knew I was would probably get hurt because they don't hold back there, and I was kind of the new guy. They pick you out and beat the fuck out of you pretty much. So in jiu-jitsu, it's not at all like that. I always tell everyone you can just go first day, first class, and you don't have to worry about getting hurt. No one's gonna choke you the fuck out or break your arm, or it's a lot more gentle to newcomers. That's how I feel about jiu-jitsu, at least.
It is, you know. Like I said, I've trained in judo, I've trained in jiu-jitsu, I've trained in boxing before. The first 6 months of boxing, I was a human heavy bag, basically. You know, those people were fucking lighting me up. In judo, the first week I did judo, I got my jaw dislocated because a brown belt dropped me on my fucking face. And
Shit.
you know, and in judo especially, you know, you got these giant guys, you know, that sit on top of you and just collar choke you, and that's none of that shit is happening in jiu-jitsu. The asshole rate in jiu-jitsu is very low.
Definitely, but occasionally there's some guys who are a little bully type and they do can openers and stuff like that to newcomers, you know, from the guard, like just cranking your neck. That's a little bit of a douchebag move, but yeah, it's a very, very small amount of people who do that.
Yeah.
Our coach, he told us last night, this is the first time I've heard this, but he was talking about how much the class is a learning environment, not an ego boost type thing. And he said, don't ever make the mistake of coming to me and say, hey man, I tapped that guy right there last night, or I just tapped Isaiah or whatever. He said, because when you do that, I'm gonna say, cool, let's roll. And then he said he's gonna, beat our ass, because it's not what it's about. And, he really, really stresses the no assholes allowed.
That's a good coach. That's definitely a good coach. And also it's important in jiu-jitsu that when you're training and sparring and you tap to your opponent, you learn something. And your opponent learns also because he did the right technique, you tapped out, and you learn you have to look at what you did wrong and do it better next time. So there's no shame in tapping out, especially in training. So I don't get how some people, they go like full clip in sparring, and I sometimes I ran into people who were a little too proud and maybe maybe a little arrogant too, and they didn't want in training, they didn't tap out. So my coach one time went nuts, and he's like, come on, if you don't tap, that's dangerous for you because you might go to sleep or get your arm broke, and also for your opponent he doesn't want to hurt you. So just tap out if you're in a situation,
Absolutely. I don't mind tapping. And the only reason that I like to get the tap is because, it lets me know I did something right. I don't really think about, he did this wrong and I took advantage of it, or I don't really even think about me against who I'm rolling with. I think about the techniques and if I do something right or something wrong, that's kind of how I look at it.
And the great thing in jiu-jitsu is also whenever you tap to whatever hold it is and you're defending it wrong, people will address it instantly. They're like, you could have gone out of this like that, and they explain it right away. And in a lot of martial arts, people that are ranked higher than you are trying to keep their secrets, to beat you, and that's totally not the case in BJJ.
Definitely.
Yeah, your sparring partners.
I think that's another reason that I'm really drawn to it, because I know I don't think about my disabilities, but I know I'm at a disadvantage. And like I said, if I would have had an experience like you did in judo or something, I wouldn't have kept training. I'd have been like, fuck that. I don't want to go get smashed. I already feel like shit most of the time.
But man, seriously, you might have a physical disadvantage, but you have a mental edge, man. You really do.
Yeah.
I think it's really amazing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, you have the right mindset. We like just from talking for a couple minutes, we already like realize how you got the right mindset for jiu-jitsu. that your sparring partner isn't your enemy. He's there. You're there to help each other. And some people in other sports, in Muay Thai, if you're sparring, it's most of the time it feels like you're fighting an enemy because the guy, he just wants to beat the fuck out of you. Even in training, it's not always about helping each other. It's more about beating each other and proving to yourself that you're a badass. And yeah, jiu-jitsu is a lot more gentle. And for your daughter's in jiu-jitsu too?
She is.
Yeah,
she is.
That's beautiful.
She
for
loves it.
children. It's beautiful for kids.
I think as far as self-defense and not her not having to worry about bullies and things like that, I think jiu-jitsu has definitely put that confidence in her. Karate and then taekwondo has given her stand-up ability and some confidence, but I think jiu-jitsu really gave her the right mindset and attitude of more about how to deal with a real-life bully.
Also the factor that if you know some jiu-jitsu, you can also defend yourself and de-escalate situations. You don't have to completely break someone's nose or just hit them right in the face. You can maybe control your opponent without hurting him too much. So that's
absolutely, and that's something that she was
school.
worried about. She didn't want to roundhouse somebody to the head, like another little kid at school,
Exactly.
So she was, she didn't really want to use her karate or her taekwondo,
Just would get her in trouble. But maybe if she gets someone to the ground, just controls him on the ground, she is defending herself without hurting the other guy too much. So that's a good thing for everyone.
And jiu-jitsu, I see it a lot. Leon, you'll see it a lot. Brian, you'll see it too. A lot of kids that just start out, they tend to behave a little bit like assholes. But as time progresses, they get better with their personality too, not just with their body,
I think so. She's a really mature 8-year-old, and I really attribute a lot of it to her martial arts training. And her jiu-jitsu coaches, they're awesome. They don't take any shit from those kids. They keep them in line, and all the kids in her class are good. They don't have any troublemakers or anything. But I think some of that's due to their coach, keeping them straight. But yeah, they really focus on their attitude, not just in class, but when they leave class and things like that. And the Taekwondo program she's in there, they actually send a form to her teacher at school before she's able to get promoted to make sure her grades are good, her behavior is good, and things like that. So her whole school in general they really, really focus on their behavior and how they carry themselves away from, martial arts. And that's a pretty important thing to me too.
Yeah, you don't want your kids to learn some martial arts and then use it to be bullies, or to be just aggressive and use it against other kids. So it's important to have this discipline and self-control. It also builds. I think it builds up a lot of social skills too. How to interact and how to just be in an environment with other people.
Definitely, and learning the respect for your teammates, that whole concept. Starting kids early in that concept, not just your training partner. You need to be better than him, and the whole aggressive, competitive mindset that is not being taught, in her jiu-jitsu class and things like that. And I think that side of the team aspect is really good for them. To embrace their teammates and help their teammates, and from a young age. And I can't say enough good things about jiu-jitsu. It's helped my life, my daughter's life, in countless ways, off the mat, on the mat, physically, mentally, every way.
It's beautiful sport. And have you heard about the MMA fighter called Nick Newell?
I don't think I have.
He's fighting now in World Series of Fighting, and he was born and with like his forearm of his left arm missing. So he always his left arm is just up to the elbow, and he's fighting MMA against like regular MMA against solid fighters, and his record, I'm just looking at it, 11-0, 8 submissions, only 1 decision, and all of his wins except the decision are in the first round.
Holy shit!
That's insane. Like,
yeah, it is.
He's fucking legit. He's his last 2 wins, his last 3 wins by rear naked choke, 2 guillotine chokes in the first round. He's fucking legit. He got the technique down. He's a solid jiu-jitsu, great wrestling. Like, I think a little bit of taekwondo background too, because he has like this wide stance. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
See, I'm really inspired by people like that can, especially that perform at such a high level. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's been talks about the UFC maybe picking him up if he's now in a winning streak. Yeah, well, he's unbeaten, but if he keeps winning like in the first round by submissions, win after win, eventually the UFC might have to think about picking him up, or Bellator. He's now in World Series of Fighting, which is like, I'd say maybe after UFC and Bellator, the 3rd big league. So yeah, he's already up there, but he can only get higher if he keeps winning. So I'd like to see what the UFC will do with him. It would definitely be very interesting.
And that's a great thing about jiu-jitsu too. Judo, for example, for a lot of the throws, you need a lot of strength, and that doesn't apply for jiu-jitsu. I mean, I hear a lot of people like, oh, I guess I'm too old for this and whatever, and Brian, you're the perfect example. Whatever disability you think you have, you can overcome that with jiu-jitsu, and that's so beautiful about this sport.
Absolutely. There are so many ways that I've been shown that to overcome things that I can't do. The techniques we learn in class, my coach is all right. He teaches everybody, and he says, all right, okay. He comes over to me and he said, here's your version. And sometimes it's the same technique but a little bit modified, and sometimes it's a totally different technique but serves the same purpose. Like punch defense from the guard. He teaches triangles, but my punch defense is trap and a Kimura. So he's able to do those things, and if he can do it for me, he can do it for anyone.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, it really sounds like your coach is pretty awesome. He can modify his techniques and the stuff he knows depending on what you can do. That's beautiful. And that's because jiu-jitsu has so many different setups and ways to do things. It's not just one way to do a technique. Like you say, punch defense, you could trap the arm, go for a triangle, but also like you say, the Kimura counter also.
By the way, my coach is Roy Marsh. I need to drop his name. He got his black belt from Hoist Gracie in December.
Whoa, nice.
So yeah, he's pretty legit. He's not just a guy at the local gym. He's Pan Am champ. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, it doesn't get any bigger than that. More legit, like black belt from Hoist Gracie. I mean, that's legit.
Yeah,
definitely.
I catch myself staring because he's got the white bar right now, and Hoist signed it, and so I catch myself staring at Hoist's signature a lot. I just think it's the coolest thing.
Yeah, have you been a fan of like following MMA before you started jiu-jitsu, or how did it happen for you?
Right after high school, I graduated in '92, and right after high school, a friend of mine that I was really close with that lived down the street, he came down to my house and he said, man, you got to come down here. My mom rented me this videotape, and there's this guy. It's like a tough man contest is how he put it. He's like, it's like a tough man contest. And there's this guy, he throws no punches or nothing, and he beats everybody. I was like, man, you're kidding me. And so I went down there and watched it, and holy shit, I was immediately hooked. If it would have been a bunch of guys knocking each other out, it would have been forgettable. I would have not thought any more about it. I thought, yeah, that was cool, seeing some guys knock each other out. But watching Hoist just take everybody down and choke them out, I was like, holy shit, that was the best thing ever. So I've been addicted ever since.
Yeah, that was insane how the smallest guy in the tournament, he went there and choked everyone out and won. Or armbarred. I think he won one by armbar, but yeah, that's like the David versus Goliath story,
Absolutely. And I think it was what was that guy? Jason DeLucia?
Yeah.
The Kung Fu guy. That was the first time I saw Hoist, pull armbar from his back like that. And I was thinking, holy shit, that guy's upside down and the other guy's standing up tapping. Like it was just never seen anything. I was like, it was just the craziest shit. So I was immediately addicted.
Then was Ken Shamrock, like this Superman-looking guy. Oh my God, he's gonna kill this kid.
Yeah, and his speedo, he was looking like just a big Hulk, and it didn't take long. Hoist was choking him.
They weren't drug testing back then either, so I bet Ken Shamrock, he was like juice to the gills, man.
Holy shit, I didn't think about that aspect of it, but I guess in those early UFCs, there was probably quite a few of them that were.
Yeah, I bet.
And by the way, Jason DeLucia was the guy that got his liver ruptured by Bas Rutten in Pancrase.
Yeah. Bas Rutten kicked him so hard, he peed blood for a couple days.
Holy shit, and I didn't know that. I knew that he had gone down to do the Gracie Challenge at the Academy in Brazil, and Hoist really worked him over.
Yeah, and then in the UFC tournament, he wanted to get his revenge, kind of. Yeah, it didn't work out too good for him, I guess.
No.
I think Hoist was really offended that he wanted his revenge like that. I think he was a little disrespected by that.
I bet. Like you already got your ass kicked and you're coming again? What the fuck?
Right. I think I watched that on the documentary, The Ultimate Hoist Gracie.
Oh yeah, I watched that too.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Plus, Brazilians are known to be, totally laid back. There's no hotheads down there.
Surfers. Yeah.
And by the way, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but yesterday somebody posted a video of BJ Penn when he was a white belt fighting a blue belt.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and
Hicks, you mean
was the referee.
Oh, you mean this one? I saw one where he's competing as a white belt in jiu-jitsu. He's competing in a black belt judo tournament.
Holy shit.
BJ Penn, he was like he was one of a kind, man. He started out jiu-jitsu and right away was tapping people out, rear naked choke. Like he does this arm trap, and he did it in this video too. There's no other, like, you have to have natural talent to be as good as BJ Penn. I mean,
he's got prodigy for a reason,
Nowadays in MMA, maybe he's not enough of an athlete to compete, but his ground games still, it's beautiful to watch.
I wonder if he would be more competitive in his last few fights if he would have used his ground game a little more, because he really seemed to abandon that for his boxing and stand-up. And I wondered why he didn't incorporate more. But you look at Joe Stevenson and Kenny Florian, he was in there standing up, but as soon as they hit the ground, it was over.
I agree.
Joke.
But also,
when he rear naked choked Matt Hughes, remember that he controlled his hands, Matt Hughes' hands, with his feet from the back mount.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he had an arm trap. Yeah.
Yeah, because he has this flexibility with his legs, he can just trap the arm and pull his the hands away from the neck with his feet. He's a crazy guy. And what you said about him, that he should use his groundwork more, I agree totally. But he also fought his last couple fights at welterweight.
Right.
He fought guys like Rory McDonald, who's enormous. So I don't
Diaz too.
Yeah, I don't think it was the right move for him to go back up to welterweight, because he's not going to take Rory McDonald down.
Yeah, that was a huge size difference.
Yeah, that was like he took a beating there. But
Indeed.
now he's apparently apparently it's official. He's coaching the Ultimate Fighter against Frankie Edgar, and they're gonna fight at 145 at featherweight. So I'm really looking forward to that, to see how BJ will do there.
So basically now, I mean, BJ Penn, that's another amazing thing. He has fought in basically every weight class there is now. He fought totally fat in heavyweight against Lyoto Machida.
Yeah, that's
It's amazing.
And took it to a decision. That was the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old school warrior, BJ Penn. He doesn't hold back. So I'm really. Yeah, go on.
I'll fight anybody, any place, anytime. He's. I think if you look that up in the dictionary, you'd see his picture.
So really looking forward how he'll do at this 145 weight class. I don't think he ever fought at 145, right?
No.
So yeah, let's see how this goes, because he's basically going down from welterweight, 2 divisions down, 2 weight classes down to featherweight now. Let's see how this goes.
I really think Frankie's pretty much the perfect opponent for him to do this against. I think it's great. I'm really interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, he already fought him twice, so he kind of knows what to expect. Because Frankie's this guy, he's very good boxing, moving in and out, very good footwork. But like you say, if BJ gets him to the ground, gets top control, I think Frankie Edgar is in a ton of trouble. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, because he had some trouble taking Frankie down, keeping his hands on him in the other 2 fights.
Yeah,
Frankie's fast.
Definitely.
Yeah, but in the lightweight division, Frankie didn't make weight. We have to keep that in mind too. I think for 145, he will have to cut weight, I think.
Yeah, Frankie's gonna cut weight for 145. Yeah, he fought. How many fights did he fight at 145? 2. Frankie Edgar against Charles Oliveira. He won this decision, and then the title fight against Jose Aldo. So he had.
Oh shit! Right.
He had 2 fights at 145. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal for him to cut the weight. He's like walking around maybe 155 to 160. So yeah, that's all right for him.
I hear Donald Cerrone is going to be going down to 145, and I actually met him in Vegas during UFC 168. Holy shit, he's a big dude. I was struggling to figure out how he makes 155. How he's going to go down to 145 amazes me.
He's tall, like 6'2", 6'1".
Yeah, he was a pretty tall guy, and yeah, he was really big.
He got a fight scheduled at 150 fight against the Brazilian guy, Adriano Martins, something like that. But yeah, I heard that too, that after this fight, no matter if he wins or loses, he wants to go down to featherweight maybe. So I'm not sure how he's gonna do that. It looks like
that was the first thing I thought when I saw him was, holy shit, he's big. He's a lot bigger than I was expecting.
You know the German guy in UFC, Dennis Siever?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago when he still fought at lightweight, I met him here at the Allianz BJJ gym. He was taking private class with the head coach. He was walking around there with a rash guard on. Man, this guy is enormous. And then when I heard he's going down to featherweight, I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, he's not the tallest guy, but his back, he's like Lucas says. Lucas calls him a mini Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I saw him at 168 when he fought, and I was like, holy shit, he's big. Yeah, I could see on TV that he's kind of a beefy guy, but seeing him in person, yeah, it's amazing how those guys cut down like that and then blow back up.
It's crazy, yeah.
What was that guy's name? The giant black dude that fought welterweight.
Anthony Johnson.
Yeah, right. that guy must have I have no idea how he handled to cut all that weight. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. He fought at welterweight, 170. He missed weight a couple times. So then they said, dude, you got to move up to middleweight. So he moved up and fought. He was supposed to fight Vitor Belfort. And he weighed in at like 197, something crazy like that. He couldn't cut any weight anymore. Like his body totally shut down. So he missed weight going up a weight class. And then he fought a couple fights outside the UFC at light heavyweight 205. And then I think his last fight or 2 fights ago, he fought Andrei Arlovsky at heavyweight. And he weighed 240. I have no idea how he went down to welterweight. That's just can't be healthy at all.
Wow. How did he do against Arlovsky?
He won a decision.
Oh, wow.
I think he dropped him to, like, he won 29-28. So, yeah, he won a decision. He did pretty well. And he didn't look fat, he had like a 6-pack and just enormous. And you hear about guys like Daniel Cormier. When he was cutting weight early in his career, he had problems with his kidneys. All of the dehydration, it's not good for your body at all.
No, I would imagine not. I wonder, undoubtedly, it gives you an advantage to do that, but I'm not sure if I could put my body through something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, Daniel Cormier, when he was wrestling, he couldn't make 205. I'm really looking forward to how this is going to work out. I wish he'll make the weight. But if it comes with that kind of, it's wearing your body down basically. If it comes with that kind of stress on your body, I don't think it's healthy, and he should stay at heavyweight.
Yeah, problem is there that his teammate Cain Velasquez, he's the dominant champ now, so he's like, yeah, I'm never going to fight him, so I might as well move down because I'm not going to get the title at this weight class because I'm not going to fight my friend. So he's going down now, and he's fighting a very tough guy in his first fight there. Rashad Evans is is a beast. That's not going to be easy at all.
That'll definitely be a tough test.
I mean, Rashad has fought the best in the last years. I'm really not sure how that's going to play out. I really like Cormier, and I wish he wins. I like his style. I like his approach. I don't know how. He's going to be faster, probably than Rashad, but it's going to be a really, really tough fight.
Rashad's game's really evolved over the years, and he's become really well-rounded. I think a lot of people these days forget about how good his wrestling base is. He's had some really nice knockouts and things like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting for me to see how their wrestling matches up.
Yeah, that's a big point in this fight. Like, for a couple fights, he kind of abandoned his wrestling. Like you said, he got a couple knockouts, but then he totally destroyed Phil Davis on the ground for 5 rounds.
Yeah,
he showed how amazing his wrestling is. And then, like his last fight against Chael Sonnen, he beat the shit out of him. He took him down, back mount. Jesus Christ, man. And Chael Sonnen was a beast too.
Chael is actually a friend of mine. He befriended me a few years ago, and he's been good to me. He sent my daughter some stuff, and actually went down and hung out with him for a little while at UFC 168, and he introduced me to some people. I got to meet like the fight doctor and just little stuff like that, but it's all like a really cool experience. And I would imagine for my daughter, I couldn't imagine what the experience was like for her. She was just all smiles the whole time. But yeah, Chael's another guy he's a pretty big guy in person. Shaking his hand, he's not a little guy by any means.
Yeah, I saw a
and
picture.
He's totally different behind the scenes. Totally different behind the scenes than he is on TV.
Of course, that's the same thing with Ronda Rousey. both of these guys, they're playing the heel. People don't really understand that. They're not like that in real life, you know.
Chael worked his way into a really nice job with Fox, you know, with his mouth.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about when he's retiring. He has this good job there with Fox for a while. And I saw a picture earlier on your Twitter too with Chael Sonnen. So you got a nice picture there with him. And a lot of fans, they're like, oh, Chael's like this guy, always talking shit. But they don't realize that behind the scenes, he could be a very nice guy, you know? I listened to him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's like totally a different person. It's not just this persona which is working for him.
Yeah, they're playing the heel, you know? Like in pro wrestling. They're out there to set themselves, you know, off from the other guys, you know? That's what they do. And I think I don't have a problem with it. That's just fighting, you know, like Mike Tyson always played the asshole in boxing, you know, and I don't have a problem with it. I think it's entertaining, you know.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people will want him, you know, want to watch. They're like, I want to watch him get his ass kicked because I hate him, I despise him, or this or that. But they're going to watch, you know, they're going to make sure he gets paid. You know, they don't look at it from that side. So yeah, I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, it's important to polarize a little bit. Like, if you're just a guy, no one really cares about you, no one likes you, but no one hates you, that's not going to work out. You got to have some people who either love you like crazy or they hate you, because then people care. They care for you winning, or they care because they want to see you lose. So that's what he realized, and he made the best out of it. I mean, he got into 3 title shots. He fought John Jones too. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah. It was from a fan's point of view, it was one of my I guess most fun moments at 168. It was the day of the fights, and I was in my seat before even the first fight started, and I was waiting to hear from Chael. And so I started getting texts from him telling me where he was. So I start going and looking for him. And my mission is just to find him because I want to get there because he didn't have a lot of time and things like that. So I'm trying to get there. And as I'm going to the place that he's telling me he's at, I roll past Michael Bisping. And he's a big dude, by the way, too. But he was running through the crowd. He wanted to know, I don't know if he had somewhere important to be, but he had no part of the crowd. He was running through there. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool. It's Michael Bisping. And then I get to the place where Chael says that he's at, and I text him and tell him, and then he calls me, and he's like, hey, there's a mix-up. I'm not actually there. So as I'm on the phone with him, listening to him explain where he is, Bruce Buffer comes walking past, and I was immediately like, holy shit, I'd like a picture with him, but I'm on the phone with Chael Sonnen. This is kind of crazy. So I got a fist bump from Buffer. And eventually made my way down to where Chael was. So that was kind of a cool fan moment of
sounds
looking
awesome.
for Chael Sonnen and running past Michael Bisping and getting a fist bump from Bruce Buffer. So that was
beautiful experience.
Great.
Yeah.
But also, like you say, you met Michael Bisping running through the crowd. Maybe there's not so many people who actually like him because he's not that well liked, I guess.
Oh, the other cool thing was it was the first night I was there on a Thursday night. No, it was Friday night. I'm sorry. It was after the weigh-ins and stuff. My daughter and I had gone out to another hotel, do some shopping and things like that. And when we came back, we were coming up to the doors of the MGM, which was where we were staying, and there was a guy walking in front of me, and he had a hat and a jacket and everything. And he opened the door for me and held it. And as I was going through the door, I glanced over and noticed, I was like, holy shit, it's Gilbert Melendez, So that was cool. He's just a regular dude holding the door for me. And so I got a picture with him. That was pretty awesome.
Wow, man. That sounds like also for your daughter, like dream come true to see Ronda Rousey kick some major ass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be maybe in 10, 15 years. Watch out, man. She's going to be winning titles and shit.
She's already talks about it. She already says she dreams about being a UFC champion and all that stuff. Chael has actually tried to get my daughter and Rhonda on the phone a couple of times, but just with timing issues, it hasn't worked out yet. So that's something else that he's he's been working on for my daughter. That he's like I say, he's a really good guy and has done some really good things for me.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
Chael Sonnen. Big shout out to Chael Sonnen right here.
Big shout out.
Beautiful. Like, he got his next fight. He's gonna coach the Ultimate Fighter Brazil against Wanderlei Silva, and then they're gonna fight, right? That's his next move. I'm really looking forward to that. How it goes down when Chael goes down to Brazil, teaching Brazilians there and coaching. That's gonna be interesting to see. And then the fight, man, they don't like each other.
No, not at all.
They don't really. This will be crazy.
Hey, I read, actually it was on bjpen.com, that Chael had actually asked Anderson Silva to help, or to, be like a guest coach or whatever on his team. And Silva declined. He said because he wasn't going to be in Brazil at that time, but he was honored because he would just like to be a part of that in his country. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I guess Anderson and Chael, after the second fight, it kind of made up, like no harm anymore there. And I heard about that too. And Anderson, but also I think Anderson also declined because he wouldn't want to teach against Wanderlei, maybe that's a factor too.
Especially because they come from the same camp originally,
Yeah, true.
Right.
And now with his injury, that's not going to happen anymore, sadly. But I saw pictures of Anderson like with his how do you say? Like his leg after the operation a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And how Dana White tweeted something like it's in 30 days he's gonna walk without crutches.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
It looks pretty good, man. I bet they got one of the best doctors there too. Surgeons, like I
bet they're top notch.
They took care of him.
Yeah, I bet he's had some of the best medical care there is. That's an investment. That's a big investment for the UFC. That's their greatest fighter of all time. I'm sure that they don't want to see him go out the way he did.
Oh, I don't think so either. And especially a couple of months ago, from a couple of weeks ago actually, GSP retired. So Dana White, he's not happy about that. Like GSP kind of saying, I need a break. Maybe he's not even coming back again. And now Anderson with this horrible injury, like I don't think Dana White was really happy with that. That's a tough hit. Like when two of the biggest stars not fighting anymore for a while like that.
And while we're at GSP, I read on the underground somewhere that Ed Soares said that they would like to have the Anderson versus GSP fight when he comes back. And what do you think about it? I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, I don't think he would get a title shot again against Chris Weidman or whoever will be champ then. Like not a direct title shot. He would have to fight someone else first. I wouldn't be against it. I mean, maybe if they say it's gonna be his last fight for sure, so make this super fight. Why not? Like, imagine how huge it would be if a GSP coming back and Anderson coming back and they are finally fighting each other. It would be a big. I mean, from a publicity and fan standpoint, I bet a lot of people would be interested.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is, they should have done that when they both were champion,
Yeah.
Now, GSP is like halfway retired, Silva has this injury, and now they're coming back and they're going to fight. I don't really see the sense in it,
Right, because there's a lot more to it than just, this badass dude versus this badass dude. It's how is he going to perform from his injury? How is GSP going to perform from his issues? And then whoever wins, there's probably going to be speculation. Well, Anderson would have won if he hadn't had that leg injury, and he did this, that. So I think that no matter how it would play out, it's going to be tainted to a certain extent if that fight does happen that way.
Definitely. There's barely ever any fights without any without any, how do you say, weird stuff or conspiracies, like, oh, if this wouldn't have happened, blah blah blah, like always fans making excuses, or even the fighters themselves after the fight. So yeah, that would be a factor. Yeah, I guess.
Excuses. Have you heard what Miesha Tate said about the Rousey fight?
No.
She basically said that she lost because she felt bad. That was the reason she lost. I mean, seriously, come on. You got thrown about 18 times, you got armbarred, and you only lost because you felt bad? No.
I bet she felt bad after the fight.
Yeah, I bet she felt really bad. Hey, she put up a good fight. I was impressed. It went a lot. It was a lot closer than I expected for a little bit, but yeah, I don't think it's because she felt bad.
Yeah, it was kind of funny how she kept running into Ronda and giving her the momentum for the throws, She just kept trying to take her down, running full speed into her, and then just getting hip tossed on the ground and almost armbarred. I didn't really understand what she was doing there.
Me neither, man. I don't,
The crowd was really, really intense for that fight. I couldn't even hear the post-fight interview for the crowd.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's because when after the tap, Miesha stood up and wanted to shake Ronda's hand, and Ronda just walked away. Yeah, I remember a lot of booing, and the crowd went crazy. They didn't really like how Ronda acted there, I bet.
Yeah, it was a lot of boos. I read or I saw an interview. I think it was like a post-fight interview. She said that Miesha disrespected her family and some things like that, and I guess she wouldn't shake her hand until she apologized. Who knows what goes on behind the scenes?
Yeah, you just can't tell, And I mean, if I really don't know if Ronda actually has a problem with Miesha like that, or if it's just extending to play the heel, but anyway it is, there's no reason to boo a champion, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah, it was a very dominating performance by Ronda, so you gotta respect that. And I love the judo. So beautiful to see the throws, and how she gets the armbar from almost every position she can go to the armbar. It's beautiful to watch. And people are a little bit disrespectful there too, I think, to boo like that.
Yeah, we'd just seen an amazing fight, and I didn't see anything but reasons to cheer. Really, what's between them personally is none of my business. I'm just a fan that likes to watch them fight. So if they shake hands, if they don't shake hands, whatever their reasons are, that's personal and it's none of my business. I'm not gonna boo on something that I really have no clue about. And even if I did know, it's still none of my business,
Exactly.
I agree 100% there. So we're going a little bit over an hour now. You could tell us again where you're training, so maybe people can check it out online or check out your coach.
I train at the Martial Arts Academy of Southern Pines. I think their website is maaspi.com. It's a pretty good website. It has a list of all of the programs they offer. You can read about my coach, my daughter's coach. My daughter's coach is Larry Hughes. He also got his black belt from Hoist Gracie in December. So
nice.
Both of them newly promoted.
Very nice.
So but check our school out. Check my coaches out. It's awesome facility. Obviously, they train my handicap ass, so they can work wonders there.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on, and very inspirational just shows
Thank
us
you.
that anything is possible if you just keep going on, keep going forward, and trying to achieve your dreams. That's
Thank you very much
huge.
for having me and letting me share my story.
Thank you, and thanks to Waterbox for making the connection again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Waterboxer.
Then have a good day there.
Have a good
And
evening. Whenever
you're
you're listening
welcome.
to this.
You're welcome anytime, Brian. You can come on again. We'll talk about whatever, jiu-jitsu, MMA, about your story. We can talk about this again if you want, every time.
Hell yes, this is awesome. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you again for sure.
Then have a good day there, and see you next time on Don't Fake
The Funk.
Another